Good evening, and welcome to the Late Night Stories. Settle in and make yourself comfortable. The day is done, and the world outside has slipped into silence. Here, in this warm little corner, only one sound remains: the steady tick-tock of the old grandfather clock. It's the same calm rhythm that has ended so many nights, a gentle reminder that this is the hour for quiet hearts, slow breaths, and soft stories. How are you feeling tonight? And where are you listening from? Share it in the comments. I always love seeing the places our late-night circle calls home. And if the familiar tick-tock brings you a bit of comfort, you're welcome to ring the little bell so the clock can call you back whenever the night feels heavy, and a story might help. Now, breathe slowly. Let the weight of the day fall away. Tonight is a special story for Christmas Eve. A quiet tale of longing and wonder called The Fir Tree. Long ago, far down in a quiet forest, where the sun rested gently on the earth and the air moved like a soft breath, there grew a little fir tree. It was fresh and green, slender and delicate, and yet it was not happy. It wished, oh how it wished, to be tall like the other trees around it, the great pines and firs who lifted their heads high and seemed to know the wide world. The sun shone kindly upon the little tree. The wind whispered through its needles. Birds sang nearby, and children passed through the forest, laughing softly as they went. But the fir tree did not listen. Sometimes the children stopped and said, "Is it not a pretty little tree?" Yet these words only made it more restless, for it wished to be admired only when it was tall and grand and old. Year after year, the fir tree grew, quietly, patiently, adding one small ring of time at a time. Still, it whispered to itself, "If only I were taller, then birds would build their nests in me. Then I would bow proudly in the wind. Then I would truly live." Because its thoughts were always ahead, the fir tree did not notice the warmth of the sun, the beauty of the clouds, or the peace of the present moment. Winter came. Snow lay white and silent on the ground. A little hare once leapt right over the tree, and the fir tree felt ashamed. 2 winters passed, and the hare could no longer jump over it. Yet still the fir tree was not content. "I must keep growing," it thought. "There is nothing else worth caring for." One autumn day, The sound of axes echoed through the forest. Tall trees fell, slowly, heavily, with deep, hollow sounds. The fir tree trembled. Where are they going? It wondered. What will become of them? Later, the birds spoke of the sea, of great ships with tall masts made of fur. And the fir tree sighed. Oh, how I wish I could go there. The sunbeams whispered, "Rejoice in your youth." The wind brushed the tree gently. The dew rested on its needles like quiet tears. But the fir tree did not understand. When Christmas drew near, young trees were taken from the forest. The sparrows told of warm rooms, glowing lights, sweet cakes, and shining stars. Oh, how beautiful that must be, thought the fir tree. At last, just before Christmas, the fir tree itself was cut down. As it fell, it felt sorrow, and suddenly remembered the forest it was leaving behind. Soon it stood in a warm, glowing room. Lights sparkled on its branches. Ornaments shimmered softly. A golden star rested at its top. For one evening, the fir tree was truly happy. Then the lights faded. The voices disappeared. Days passed. The fir tree was carried away into a dark, silent garret, where time moved slowly and no sunlight came. Little mice gathered near and listened as the fir tree told its memories of the forest, of Christmas, of joy it had not recognized until it was gone. Spring returned. The fir tree was taken outside again, but now its branches were dry, its needles pale and falling. At last it was broken into pieces and placed upon the fire. As it burned, it sighed gently, remembering summer sunlight, winter snow, and one bright Christmas night. And then it was gone. For all stories must end, just as all lives do. And perhaps they remind us to cherish the quiet moments while they are still with us. And as the story of the fir tree fades into silence, another ancient tree waits to share its final dream. This is the last dream of the old oak. High in a forest, near the quiet edge of the sea, stood a very old oak tree. It had lived through hundreds of years, so many seasons that time no longer hurried around it. To the oak, years passed like gentle days, and days like slow, peaceful breaths. All spring, all summer, all autumn, the old tree remained awake, listening to the world. Only in winter did it truly rest. In warm summers, tiny creatures lived their brief, shining lives among its leaves. They danced in sunlight, floated on soft air, and rejoiced in the moment. The oak watched them kindly, never judging, only wondering how differently time could be felt. Season after season passed. Leaves grew, leaves fell. Winds whispered, storms sang the tree to sleep. At last, winter arrived again. The oak stood bare and quiet, its branches reaching into stillness. And then, on a holy winter night, the old tree began to dream. In its dream, it was summer once more. Warm light moved gently through fresh green leaves. Butterflies drifted lazily. Birdsong floated through the air like memory itself. All the moments of the oak's long life passed before it, not quickly, but like a peaceful procession. It saw travellers resting beneath its shade, lovers meeting in quiet joy. Songs once played among its branches returned as soft echoes. The oak felt life rise within it again, through root and trunk and leaf, lifting it higher and higher. Higher than clouds, higher than the birds, until light itself seemed close. Yet even in this joy, the oak felt a gentle longing, a wish that all living things might rise together. And in the dream, they did. Trees, flowers, grasses, even the smallest blooms rose softly upward. Nothing was left behind. Nothing was forgotten. In that dream, the oak understood peace. As the dream reached its calmest moment, a great storm moved across the land and sea. The wind sang, the earth loosened its hold, and gently the old oak rested for the last time. Morning came. The storm had passed. Bells rang for Christmas Day. The oak lay quiet by the shore, its long life complete, its final dream fulfilled. For nothing was lost, only transformed. And so the old tree slept, as all long journeys finally end, in rest. And as the old oak's final dream fades into silence, time itself begins to move once more. A new year waits quietly at the gate, and a mail coach approaches, carrying its 12 silent passengers. It was a bitterly cold night. The sky glittered with quiet stars, and the air stood perfectly still. Far away, a clock struck 12. The old year faded, and the new one arrived, softly. From the distance came a gentle sound, the slow rolling of wheels and the low call of a horn. The mail coach appeared, heavy and patient, and stopped before the sleeping town. Inside were 12 passengers, quiet travellers of time. One by one they stepped down, each carrying a small bundle, each with a presence calm and certain. The first stood strong and wrapped in warmth. "I am January," he seemed to say, steady, thoughtful, full of plans yet untold. The next laughed softly, light-footed and brief. February passed like a smile, short, bright, and gone almost before noticed. March followed, thoughtful and cool, carrying the promise of change. April drifted by, playful and uncertain, bringing both tears and laughter in the same gentle breath. Then came May. Soft footsteps, green air, and the quiet song of growing things. June rested a moment longer, stretching the days, inviting rest and warmth. July moved easily, sunlit and light, carrying nothing but ease. August followed, rich and full, steady hands shaped by work and care. September painted the air in gold and amber, slowing the world with colour. October arrived with measured steps, fields resting after harvest, the earth breathing out. November coughed softly, drawing curtains of mist and memory. And last came December, old and gentle, holding a small fir tree close. She promised warmth, light, and stories shared in still rooms. When all 12 had passed, the coach stood empty. The year had begun its quiet journey. No one yet knew what each traveller would bring, joy or sorrow, rest or change. For time moves softly and reveals itself only as we walk within it. And so the night grows still again, the road stretches on, and sleep comes gently.